UCMC continues its work, and now we are given the floor to decentralization briefing. Can decentralization solve community problems that have not been solved for years? Our guest is Stanislav Nihai, head of Apostolove United Community. Today we have 704 amalgamated communities with 665 that have completed the elections and 39 waiting for the first elections. This is one of the stages in the reform of decentralization. Powers will be delegated to the local level in the spheres of healthcare, education, and local budgets have increased as compared to 2014. The profit portion of the local budgets were 68, and now they are 192 billion. The regional infrastructure of communities improved. The state support was amounted to $500 million in 2017, 17 billion hryvnias. Lots of things have been done, but how it is implemented at the local level we will be talking today. Give us please the description of situation in your community. Our community has come to the first elections in 2015. 5 communities were amalgamated: Apostolove, Kamensk, Pershetravneva, Mikhailovo, and Volodymyrovka. Village councils united. How many people and how many settlements are united? 20 settlements, 1 town, and 18 villages. We have 24,000 inhabitants. Whether the uniting process was long, how long it took. I'd like to say that any reform is painful. Those people who are ready to work according to the rules of the old times, but we understood we should come, we should make the first step, because every reform gives new opportunities, new chances. In any reform, we can see the people who don't want to live according to the old rules. So the process was painful, but we made this step. When we united, this was the first step towards the development. We demonstrated that we wanted the development. There are very many people who are still thinking that there is no future in the decentralization reform, or they do not want to believe this. But we know for sure that our future is in decentralization. We participated in the trainings and we understood the idea. We should do economic calculations primarily. We should analyze our opportunities and the future. is in the United. First of all, economic calculations should be performed. Have your expectations coincided with the reality? You said that in 2015 there was elections and your community is 2 years old. What does this mean in economic parameters? What about your expectations? Our expectations came true. We wanted this reform and we were moving towards this reform. We are economically more sound now. Our budgets became larger. We have larger loads. We have more powers. Our community have more powers. But we are moving forward. We are looking for the chances. We have more opportunities to find potential platforms to accomplish economic growth. So we use the chances for our accomplishments, and human factor should be taken into consideration. We should address each taxpayer on individual basis. Let's come back to the budget indicators. You have compiled this slideshow. 157 million hryvnias in your general budget. How much of this 157,702,000 hryvnias you have your own incomes? What are these incomes from? What has changed in the tax portion? Maybe you had more money before this uniting. 60% of PDF4 remains at our local level. We are allowed to use our human resources and lands, and people can pay taxes to our budget. The tax base changed thanks to the decentralization, and the budgets grew, and we derived more opportunities from this. You said that 20 settlements are united in your community. 24,000 of people, of your inhabitants. This is not little. How can you pay attention to the development of all areas? I think that settlements have problems with healthcare system and transportation system and road system. Of course, healthcare system had some shortcomings, and we also address the issues of repair of our roads. Of course, our deputies and our headmasters of settlements, they want to repair the roads, but we are taking united decisions and work in coordination. What are your accomplishments in detail? Maybe you have repaired hospitals or roads. We repaired many roads. We are repairing kindergarten, schools. Not all of them and not at once. Today we have Apostolove school repaired thanks to the subventions. We have created the basic school thanks to the support of our regional council. We have repaired the kindergartens. We have very many kindergartens and schools. We have repaired 3 schools buildings, 2 kindergarten buildings. Next year we will continue with repairs at schools. We have some nuances with schools where there is not enough children, but as we have children in our settlements, we will provide them with good school buildings and other facilities. You are repairing schools and kindergartens today, and do you make some focus how many children will be studying in the schools in several years? Your community should work out projects that would give jobs to your community in your area. Then there will be high birth rates, and there will be children to visit your schools. Last year the Prime Minister's under patronage of the Vice Minister, there were some meetings where projects were discussed which at local level would provide incomes to local communities. Do you have any examples, any cases of best practices? We are making spatial planning today, which would provide us the opportunity to offer our areas to investors. We have the project today on wholesale market. What is this project? This project is an investment project to create. Many people are saying you want to create the marketplace. No, we would like to create a platform. It would be not only wholesale marketplace. It will be the basis to start the program on processing, storage. And of course, there will be some infrastructure created around this marketplace. You mean creating some cluster or cooperative for selling, wholesaling agricultural products? Or will this be some... we want to create the center where people can share their opinions, communicate, offer their products, meet, and develop their own programs, what they want to see here tomorrow. The demand gives rise to the supply. We have also a project on green energy. This is the project on installation of solar batteries for 15 megawatts. So this would create more jobs, more taxes. Do you have investor already? Yes, we have preliminary consent to the project. It has been preliminarily approved, and in 2 months we suppose it would be approved. And this is investors' funds which you will use. How did you find the investor? We visit meetings, and at every meeting we voice out our offers, because we are unfortunately situated in the depressive region, in the agricultural region. Our main resource is land. We used to have in industrial plants, but have been ruined, so we propose our land. There was one meeting where we were approached with some group who said they were ready to invest into our territories. We analyzed their proposal, and then the session of our council supported this offer, this investment proposal. You said there are many territories you can propose to investors. What is important for investors? The land as itself may be of low interest. Maybe there should be some engineering systems in place and also support of community. What else is important for the investor so that the investor is interested to work with the community? I think this is the environment which we would create for this seed to grow. We in our team used to say that if one person would come to us, I'm ready to establish the enterprise here, it will give you 2 jobs, to workplaces. We will do everything to help this investor, to encourage him. So you have been already planning documentation. I think also you need the strategy of development, at least for the midterm, so that your community understand clearly where you go and what are your priorities. Do you have all these things in place? Yes, thanks to the DOBRE project, we have developed our development strategy till 2025, where all these aspects are described. The objectives, our methods to accomplish and to achieve the objectives. I have read the strategy of Apostolove community. I found there that the researchers say that in the territory of Apostolove community, the drinking water is of poorest quality because Kryverig thermal power plant is close to your community. How do you think to approach this problem? Apostolove Vodokanal is our utility enterprise. It provides water supply in our community. We will be developing the program. We have some developments already to modernize our distribution water supply networks because they are 60 years old, and this also contribute to the bad quality of our drinking water. We will be offering and encouraging projects and programs to install new equipment. Of course, the problem of drinking water happened not yesterday. It is many years long. Whether your community had any opportunities to resolve this problem several years ago, of course there were no opportunities. Upon the decentralization, we enjoy far more chances to address the problem. If we have not decentralized, if we have not united, then we are now not talking about this problem, because utilities problem is relative always. It used to be addressed through subsidies, and we are ready to support utilities so that the quality of drinking water is improved in our area, and we have been developing this plan. Let's return to the topic of traffic of roads. when I have been reading about your community, I found the fact that in 2017 the integrated program of road repair was implemented, and in 2017 there was 63 million budgeted in this program for roads. We have not used all this money, but we completed works for 15 millions. They were from subventions and also from excise duties. We have implemented the project of repair of our central square. You see these photos. All these works have been completed thanks to this decentralization. We have completed the projects on repair of half of our central streets. Are you talking about the town of Apostolove now? And what is the situation in villages? In the villages, we also proportionally have been implementing 1 or 2 projects every year. The current repairs and overhauls of the roads. We are one big family, like 5 fingers on one hand. No settlements was omitted. We focus on every settlement. What are your plans for this year? Also taking into account that the state has created the governmental fund. We are ready to co-finance those roads which are not owned by us, which have been transmitted to the agency, to the agency's responsibility or competence, whatever. We plan next year to use 10 millions for road repairs. Those roads which will be repaired by the agency, we are ready to co-finance them. Continuing this topic, talking about decentralization, more than 13% of excise duty will be returned to the community budgets. How do you accumulate in Apostolove community this tax amounts and then use it to repair the roads? We expect about 7.5 million to this year. All of them will be spent for road repairs. A portion of this money would be used to compile design and calculation documentation and estimates. 13 projects have already been completed so far. I think last year we implemented 1 project for 3 million. This year we will implement 1 or 2 projects more. The program which we adopted, it consists it covers all our settlements. Every settlement will be addressed so that its problems are resolved. Apostolove community was among the first who received the powers in the sphere of architectural control. Are there any prospects in this that now you can control construction in your territories? First of all, in 2016, in June, we took powers. We were provided and we took the powers for architectural and construction inspections. This is to provide road accessibility for our community. Now our citizens shouldn't go somewhere they just use services of our local CAS. Our Administrative Services Center is very good one. It provides 162 services to our citizens, including architectural and construction documentation compilation services. So first of all, this is to make services accessible. Am I right that now your administrative servants, civil servants, they control the quality of construction works? Of course, when the declaration is made and the certificate of completion, it is inspected by our specialists from the very beginning to the very end. We can control. Control is a primary target because the construction projects, they should be safe for people. You have financed the Administrative Services Center projects. How many services are provided? 162 services. What are the most important for your community members? Why am I asking? Into villages, whether they do not have united community, people go to district centers to get some documents. Do you have any queues in your administrative services center? We have enough administrative staff which accept documents when people submit them, and also provide explanations, especially about the land issues, the land rights issues. Every guest who come to this project and who I interview, they do not like to talk about problems. Maybe you will tell us about some problems in your community. I think that even if we have problems, we knew when we started the decentralization process that we would face them. We just should conduct our activities. The problems concern schools. Last year, we undertook obligations in the social rehabilitation sphere, the project of youth, and also the territorial center for disabled persons. But we are ready to move forward, and we have lots of tasks to accomplish. The country started reforms. When the reforms started, there were many rumors that the villages will disappear because this decentralization, as there will no longer kindergartens and school exists in villages. And what about your community territory? As concerns schools, we have not closed any schools, but we decreased the accreditation level of schools. This is because we lack children in our villages. If we do not have 10th and 11th grades at our schools, but we are not talking about closing of the schools. schools will continue to exist, maybe of the first accreditation level, the first grade school, and we also will provide the comfortable transportation to schools. Maybe we will take some serious measures. We understand that if we do not have schools, then the villages would not develop, and I can't agree with you that there will not be schools and there will not be villages. I think that if there is one better school with higher quality education given, then this would provide more opportunities to your school children. And now I would like to demonstrate you a short video.
So I would like to ask you, we wanted to demonstrate the video. Recently in your community several projects were realized. So we realized the projects together with DOBRE project, and we established playing grounds in Apostolove, in Zaporizhsky village, and in Zerchanach. We've shown that we are ready to participate in the new project in order to improve the infrastructure. So these are the photos, the opening of these playing grounds for children. So, and what were the impressions of the community? Yes, they really liked this initiative. So everything that is done for the development of our children, for the development of our settlements, this is greeted by people, and this is the environment where children can communicate, where parents also can communicate, and they can share their experience. They discuss maybe our work as well, and then they will put this on Facebook, on our page, and we will get energy from this in order to understand where to go further. And do you have such moments when you really didn't want to continue the reform? But I came to this position from the position of the village head, and I knew how these things were done for many years, and now I believe that you should see positive things in any moment, and we were ready for difficulties. Yes, there are some problems, but I have never regretted that we started this process. And lastly, I know that deputies, there are 34 deputies, part of them do not belong to any party, others belong to some parties. Is it possible to reach consensus in order to adopt decisions that are important for the community? During the first session, I've asked all the deputies. I've said that they should, if they come here to work, to change something. So I asked them to not to politicize the issue, that they should approach the problems as the participants of the community, and the programs we adopt. So you discuss them, you research them, and you should look at these issues not like members of the political parties, but as the members of the community. And if you like this program, so we will adopt it. And if you don't like it, you can make your proposals. So there are some parties, there are representatives of the party that they try to move their position there, but they support the position of the community. So we wish you success, and please come here in a year and tell us about the results of your work. And today we were speaking with Stanislav Nihai, head of Apostolove United Community. Till the next time, goodbye.